Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. Happy weekend. It's the weekend again. Not that we have great plans because we're all in quarantine these days, but still, it's the weekend. How is everyone doing today? If you are watching, please write your name and where you are at the moment in the comments so we can start a conversation. Let me introduce myself. My name is George. I am originally from Cyprus. Hi, Nico. How are you? Where are you at the moment? Please write a comment. So I'm originally from Cyprus. Cyprus is a small island, a Greek-speaking island in the East Mediterranean. But I'm also Canadian. So my dad is Canadian. I have family in Cyprus and in Canada. I have been living in Rome since August 2018. So it's been almost 2 years in Rome now. And I really like it. And I've been working at my English school for 2 years. Nico from Bari, welcome. Nice to have you with us. Everyone else, if you're watching, please write a comment. Tell me your name and where you are at the moment or where you're from. Today we will be together for about 50 minutes this morning talking about geography. Now, geography is not a very popular subject at school, I think. Not many children like it at school, but I loved geography at school. So it's something I feel very strongly about. Hi, Davide from Modena. Nice to have you with us. Welcome. Back to school. Not really. Today we will focus on English, basically, but we will use English in the context of geography. Yeah? So we will talk about different landforms and geographical features. So today we will be using comparing language. So comparatives, superlatives, and vocabulary about geographical features. Yeah. Diego, welcome from Palermo. I went to Palermo in December. I really liked it. It's a very historical city and it surprised me. It was amazing. Good to have you with us. So, first of all, a very small geography quiz. So, the first one, Lake Baikal is the deepest lake in the world. So 1,637 meters deep. It holds 20% of the world's fresh water. Lake Baikal is in what country? What do you think? If you don't know, take a guess. What do you think is the correct answer? Diego says Russia. I think we might have a little geography expert with us. That's correct. Very good. Next, the widest river in the world is the Amazon River. In what country? Where is the Amazon River? I think the widest river is probably the Amazon River, but the longest river is the River Nile, probably in Egypt. Nico also got it correct in Russia about number one. Very good. Diego says the Amazon River is in Brazil. Brazil, yeah, I agree with you guys. I think it goes through different countries, so most of it is in Brazil. Yeah, so South America, obviously, Brazil is the main country for the Amazon River. And the third one, the highest waterfall in the world is Angel Falls at 979 meters. It is located in... Good morning, Beatrice from Milano. Nice to have you with us. Another great city. Let's say what a waterfall is. Waterfall is like a cascade of water. So if you see the picture, the girl is looking at a waterfall. Okay, people think the USA. Nico and David think the USA. Any other answers? Any other geography experts? Good, Nico. Be careful with this structure. We say, I'm not sure. Yeah, sure is treated like an adjective. And you can say, I'm not sure, yeah? Yeah, this one is maybe a little bit more difficult. It's in Venezuela, actually. So in Latin America again. Don't worry, please make mistakes. It's important to make mistakes. Okay, so here we have some geographic locations or geographical landforms. So different features we find in nature. We have the vocabulary and the pictures. Let's match them together. So picture A. Yeah, the Niagara Falls, Diego, are different. They are in Canada and in the United States. They separate the two countries. I think the Niagara Falls are the second highest. Good. Most people say picture A is a valley. I agree with you. It's a valley. So a valley is basically a low part between two hills or two mountains. It's usually green. There might be a river running through the valley. And it can be steep or not so steep. Like it can be very dangerous, like very deep, or not so dangerous, not so deep. For example, in Norway, near the fjords, there are many valleys. So it's full of hills and low points, valleys. And as you can see in the picture, in some valleys, there are villages that settle. Okay, everyone is doing great. Picture B, you're saying mountains. Very good. Excellent. Picture C, people are saying lake. Most of you agree it's a lake. I agree with you. Very good. D, people say island. Excellent. Very good, guys. Be careful with the pronunciation of island. The S is silent. So island. Yeah. E, people say desert. Excellent. You are correct. Be careful with the spelling of desert. So one S, desert, and it's this thing in the picture. For example, the Sahara Desert. If you put two S, double S's, then double S, then you have dessert. And dessert is a sweet you have after lunch or after dinner. For example, tiramisu is a dessert. Cheesecake is a dessert. Yeah. So double S is a completely different word, and the pronunciation is a bit different. Picture F. Wow, Beatrice, very good. Beatrice says it's cliffs, very good. For example, Dover's cliffs. Yeah, I think there are cliffs in Dover. I'm not sure how famous they are, but yeah, excellent. So cliffs are when a mountain stops or a hill stops and then there is empty space. If you fall, you basically die. It's dangerous. They are beautiful to see, as you can see in the picture. It's great sort of land formations. G, Beatrice is very specific again. This is, I think, yeah, this is the Arno in Florence, in Tuscany. Yeah. So it's a river. Very good. And the last one, we have a canyon. Very good. Wow, you guys really know your geography. That's amazing. Good. So we have a canyon. A canyon is where when you have many different cliffs and in between there is an empty space. Usually it's deep, it's deeper than a valley, and there is no vegetation, there is no life there. It's just bare rock, basically. I think the US, America has a lot of canyons, different sizes of canyons. Good. So let me know if where you are now, there are any of these geographic locations. So, for example, I think we have people in Modena. Are there any lakes? Are there any rivers? Are there any mountains in Modena? Or let me know. We have people in Sicily, in Palermo. We have people in Milan. Tell me what geographic locations are near you at the moment. I am in Rome, so nearby. I don't live very far from the Tiber, the river. So there is a river. There are no mountains. There are a few lakes around Lazio. For example, before the quarantine, I took a road trip to Lake Candolfo, which was very nice, with my friends by car. There's also a beach nearby, which is another geographic location. So there is the coast, but not many other geographic landforms. What about in your areas, guys? Any interesting landforms? Modena is a flat land. Yeah, it is, but it's a very beautiful, very cute city. I lived in Bologna for a year. This was back like 8 years ago. And I traveled to Modena, I remember, because one of my best friends at university was from Modena. And I thought it was a very cute, very pretty little town. And the food is great in Emilia-Romagna in general. But it is predominantly flat. Yeah, there aren't many geographical locations or features. Good. Anybody else? Okay, guys, keep your comments coming. Sometimes there is a delay between the time when you write a comment and when I read it, because this is live. Beatrice says, in Milan, there isn't any, you can say there aren't any rivers, any natural lakes, and any mountains. But there are little rivers. Okay, excellent. Navigli. I have never seen this river. Interesting, very interesting. Okay, here are some adjectives we can use to describe all these geographic locations. Nico says, I live in Puglia. My land is a little California. In Puglia, there is a valley, sea, and mountains. I went to Puglia last summer, actually. I went to Gargano and Foggia, I think, and I really liked it. Gargano has beautiful waters, but I really want to go down south in Salento and Otranto. I think that's even more beautiful. But yeah, you're right. There are hills, valleys, beach, obviously, and mountains. Yeah, definitely. Good. So let's match the opposite adjectives. So wide, opposite, which one of the three? Is it low, narrow, or shallow? Salento is amazing. I have seen pictures, Nico. I really want to go and take pictures of my own. Wide, shallow, says Beatrice. Davide says narrow. I think I agree with Davide on this one. So wide and narrow. We can use another adjective for wide. We can say also broad. So for example, the river Po in the north of Italy is quite wide or quite broad. But River Navigli that we talked about before is narrow, yeah, not very broad, not very wide. Deep, let's see. Deep, what do you think, guys? Yep, very good. Deep, shallow. So when you go to the beach and you start going into the water, into the sea, in the beginning it's shallow. So you can walk and go into the sea, yeah? But as you walk, it becomes deeper and deeper. And then if you're in the deep end, you have to swim. So yeah, deep, opposite, shallow. The same in a swimming pool. In the beginning, when you go in, it's shallow, so your feet touch the ground. But the deep end, if it's 3 or 4 meters deep, then you have to swim, obviously. Yeah? And high, low. Good. Be careful the difference. If we talk about a person, we don't say high and low. Yeah, we say tall, tall person, and short. But for geography, for mountains, for example, we say high and low, not tall and short. Yeah, tall and short for people. Good, very good, you guys. Excellent. Beatrice, shallow is kind of superficial, let's say. So as I said before, if you have a swimming pool, if the water is only 1 meter high, then it's a shallow end. Your feet touch the ground, yeah. But then you have the deep end, which is 3 or 4 meters deep, for example, and there your feet don't touch the ground. It's deep. Okay, so what adjectives would you use to describe these geographic features? So we have all the features here: valley, river, canyon, lake, mountains, and cliffs. And we can put them in the correct category. What adjectives do we use with each? For the music, high and low, right? Yeah, we can use high and low for volume. Also, very good, Nico. So the volume of music, or yeah. Okay, so where do we put valley? What adjectives can we use? Can we say wide, narrow, deep, shallow, high, low. What do you think? What adjectives can we use with valley? Deep, shallow, very good, Beatrice. You can have a deep valley or a shallow valley. Anything else? I think there is one other option. Very good, Diego. It can be wide also. Wide and narrow, yeah? Good, so we can use these 4 adjectives to describe valleys. River, very good, Beatrice. Wide or narrow? Yep. Anything else we can say? I think we can also say deep and shallow, yeah? Because it's water, so we can always have a shallow and a deep part. What about a canyon? How can we describe a canyon? Remember, a canyon is similar to a valley, but it looks like a desert. It's just bare rock. Yeah. Very good, Diego. Wide or narrow, very good. Again, we don't usually say a high canyon or a low canyon, Beatrice. We usually say deep or shallow again, similar to the valley, because they are similar land formations. What about mountains? What do we use for mountains? Oh, sorry, we have lake. Lake first. Diego says, I think you mean rivers become deeper in different seasons. Yeah, maybe according to the rain. If it rains, a lot in winter, then there is more water accumulating in the river, so the river is deeper. Yeah, makes absolute sense. Lakes are deep or shallow. Very good. Excellent. And mountains, Davide, high or low? Very good. What about cliffs, guys? Cliffs, remember, are the edge of the mountain, the end of the mountain, where the mountain finishes and then there is a drop. Very good. Nico, Beatrice. We don't usually say wide uh, um, or narrow lake. We usually say deep or shallow. Yeah. Diego says cliffs are high or low. Very good. Similar to mountains. Okay, excellent, you guys. Very good use of these adjectives. So let's talk about your town again. So tell each other about your city or hometown. Use the questions below to guide you. So number 1, how would you describe the streets in your city or hometown? Narrow or wide? Number 2, what is its most important source of water? Is it fresh water or salt water? So a source of water is where we get water. It could be the sea, it could be a river, it could be a dam. A dam is like an artificial lake where we collect water. And number 3, what is the geography of your city, hometown? Any mountains, valleys, or cliffs, anything else? So, as I told you, I was born in Cyprus, in the capital of Cyprus, Nicosia. So in Nicosia, the landscape is quite flat. It's a very not modern city, but it's newly built. It was built very recently. after the Second World War, and it grew very quickly. The streets are quite wide. They're definitely not narrow because it's not an ancient town, an ancient city. So the streets are quite wide. Always two cars. You know, there is cars can drive in two directions at the same time. The most important source of water is actually desalination. So desalination is the process of taking seawater, which is salty, and transforming it into drinking water. The water that we can drink. So we use this process in Cyprus to desalinate water and increase our drinking water because we don't have a lot of rain. So not a lot of water collects in the dams, and we don't have any lakes. So we use this process. And the geography in Nicosia, as I said, it's quite flat. It's basically a very flat valley. There aren't any mountains or cliffs in my city, but there are really high mountains in Cyprus, around 3,000 meters high. Beatrice says in Milan, we have wide streets, very good, but they are always trafficked. Very good. It's better to say they are always full of traffic. Very good. The streets are always full of traffic. I think it's a similar situation in Rome, Beatrice. There's a lot of noise and pollution, obviously, and yeah, it's a characteristic of large metropolitan cities. Yeah. Wow, excellent, Diego. I didn't know desalination happened also in all the minor islands of Sicily. That's very interesting. Davide says in Modena there are narrow streets. Be careful with the plural streets. The source of water is deep in the ground, and Modena is flat land. Yeah. Good. So you extract water from the ground. Okay. Very good. Excellent. Thank you for your comments, guys. Now, here we have a text about America, so the US. I will read the text for you. As I'm reading, please try to note and to find superlatives or comparatives in this text. So I will read, listen, and focus on finding superlatives and comparatives. So the US is the world's third largest country in size. It is 2 times larger than the European Union. Its geography is very diverse, and you can find everything from tropical islands in Hawaii and Florida to cliffs, canyons, and deserts in the Southwest. Death Valley in California is deeper than the Grand Canyon. At 86 meters, it is the lowest point in the country. Denali in Alaska is the tallest mountain, 6,198 meters in the US and in North America. Crater Lake in Oregon is 589 meters deep, and it's also the 9th deepest lake in the world. The Mississippi River is the longest river in the US and the 4th longest river in the world. So let me know what comparatives and what superlatives you can find. You don't have to write all of them, just write 1 or 2 that you have identified in the comments. Beatrice says the most important source of water are aquifers. Do you mean aqueducts? Aqueducts, maybe? In Palermo, there is only one river, but it is not very deep. Yeah, I think similar to Cyprus, we don't have deep rivers. They're not really an important landform. Nico has found a lot of superlatives. Largest, larger is and also comparatives. Very good. Excellent. Very good spelling as well, Nico. Good. Any others? Any other people locating comparatives and superlatives in this text? Davide has the same. Very good. Very good, guys. Okay, so let's find them together. We have largest, lowest, tallest, deepest, longest. Very good. Okay, so these are superlatives. Usually you need the article. So even in the first example, the world's third largest country, we need the article the. So the lowest point, the tallest mountain, the ninth deepest, yeah, the longest. Diego, very diverse is superlative? No, I will come back to that in a bit to explain what that is, what the superlative is. Okay, and also here we have comparatives in red, larger, deeper, larger and deeper, yeah? And notice that larger than, deeper than. Good, so are these adjectives long or short? So the adjective large, deep, low, tall, long, they are all short adjectives, right? So if you have short adjectives in English, then for the comparative, you add er. And for the superlative, you add est. Now, Diego, you said diverse. The adjective diverse, is it a short or a long adjective? I would say it's a long adjective. So if you want the comparative, you say more diverse than, and then the superlative is the most diverse. So that would be the superlative, the most diverse. Very diverse is not a superlative. It's just using very to say that something is a bit more extreme, maybe, yeah? But it's not a superlative. It doesn't mean it's the most diverse, yeah? It's just very diverse. Good, very good. So let's try to use them in this context. So use the pictures to compare three things using superlatives and comparatives. Example, Mount Denali is higher than Mont Blanc. Yep, 6,000, 4,000 meters. Yeah, it's higher. But Mount Everest is the highest mountain in the world. Or in this case, the highest mountain between the three. Very good, Beatrice. Excellent explanation of the rule. Perfect. So write your own sentences regarding these three mountains. With mountains, as we said, we can use the adjectives high and low. So try to make comparatives and superlatives using high and low. Very good, Nico. Everest is the highest mountain of the world. Usually we say in the world. When we talk about records, we say, for example, the biggest country in the world, the highest mountain in the world, yeah, the preposition. Any other sentences? For example, I could say Mount Denali is lower than Mount Everest. Ah, very good. Nico just wrote that. Excellent. Very good use of the comparative. Beatrice says Mont Blanc is deeper. Remember, deep is when we have water. So for a mountain, we don't usually use deep and shallow. We use high and low. Yeah. So Mont Blanc is higher. I would say it's lower than Mount Denali. And Mount Denali is lower than Everest. Yeah. So change your adjective there. Lower, not deeper. Yeah, very good, Giuseppe. Mont Blanc is lower than Denali. Excellent. Very good sentence. And which one is the lowest of the three? Let's use the superlative in there. Very good, Diego. Mont Blanc is the highest mountain of Italy. Excellent. Ooh, Mont Blanc is a bit lower than Denali. Excellent, Nico. It's not a big difference, it's a small difference. A bit lower. Perfect. Very good. Everest is the highest. Yeah, high is a short adjective, so we don't need the most in the superlative, Beatrice. Yeah, we can say Everest is the highest mountain. Good. Excellent examples, guys. Okay, we will move on. And here you have some more landforms to make comparisons. So you have two islands, Madagascar, and the size, and Hawaii. Here, I would use the adjective big and small for islands. Big and small. They are both short adjectives, yeah? We have three lakes. We have Lake Victoria, Lake Tahoe, and Lake Titicaca. And here you have the size. You have, how big it is. So you can say big or small, and the depth. So you can say deep or shallow in your comparisons. And two mountains, Mount Fuji and Mount Kilimanjaro. And here you can use high or low, as we said, for mountains. So write some sentences and compare these landforms. Davide says Madagascar is bigger than Hawaii. Perfect. Very good sentence. Nico said Denali is one of the highest mountains in the world. You need the S there. Yeah. If you want to say one of the, which is very nice sentence, you need the plural. For example, Italy is one of the most beautiful countries in the world. Yeah, you need the plural. Any other sentences about these islands, lakes, and mountains, guys? Lake Victoria is, Davide, be careful with shallow. It's considered a short adjective. So we say Lake Victoria is shallower than the other two. If you are not sure about whether it's considered a long or short adjective, it's better to use more, because more makes sense when you use it with any adjective. But if it's a short adjective, it sounds a bit strange. It's better to use er. So shallower is definitely correct. Two minor islands in Sicily. Ustica is smaller than Pantelleria. Okay, good. I've never heard of these islands, Diego. That's great. Lake Tahoe is deeper than Victoria. Excellent, Giuseppe. Mount Kilimanjaro is higher than Mount Fuji. Yes, perfect, Beatrice. Very good. Be careful with your spelling of higher. There is no A in there, yeah? Good, very good. Another tip about adjectives. If you have adjectives that end in us, so for example, famous, then in the comparative form, they are considered long adjectives. So you say more famous than. And the superlative, the most famous, yeah? If you have adjectives ending in al, for example, mythical, and again, they are always long adjectives. So more mythical than, and the most mythical, yeah? Yeah, just some tips for you. Nico says Titicaca is a bit deeper than Tahoe. Is it a small difference? I think it's the opposite there. I think Lake Tahoe is deeper. So I would say Lake Tahoe is a bit deeper than Lake Titicaca, yeah? Very good. Okay, excellent formation of comparatives and superlatives. Now, final exercise. I would like you to compare some Italian cities. You can use many different adjectives. You can use expensive, the opposite, cheap. You can use big, and the opposite, small. You can use adjectives about the weather, so hot or cold. You can use adjectives about how safe it is, so safe or opposite, dangerous. You can say interesting or opposite, boring, beautiful or ugly. So here we have different adjectives. I would like you to use them to compare different Italian cities. For example, Rome is more expensive than Palermo. It's much more expensive, yeah? Rome is the most interesting city in Italy, says Nico. Interesting. I think I agree with you. It's definitely the most ancient. Milan is the most expensive. Sorry, Milan is more expensive than Rome. Very good. Palermo is souther than Milan. We can't say souther. You can say is more south. than Milan. That's a better sentence, yeah, to say that. South can also be used as an adjective. Rome is larger than Milan. Very good, excellent. Napoli is the most dangerous city in Italy. Yeah, I think I agree with you there. I went to Naples in October last year, and I loved it. But there are some areas that are very dangerous, especially near the Spanish Quarter. So yeah, maybe that's correct, Davide. Trento is much colder than Palermo. Yes, very good. You go straight the north and then down to the south. The north is definitely colder. Excellent, guys. Florence is more beautiful than Modena. Florence, I think, is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. So yeah, absolutely. Milan is the most, I'm not sure the adjective, Beatrice. Do you mean industrial? So you can say Milan is the most industrial city. In Italy, for example. Or productive, maybe. But I would use industrial if you want to talk about the production of products. Palermo is the most important city of Sicily. Excellent, Diego. Very good. Good, guys. Great use of all the adjectives and very good use of the adjectives to describe geographical formations as well. Good. So this brings us to the end of the webinar. Thank you so much for your participation. Your comments have been great and you're all very accurate with using comparatives and superlatives. Let's just recap some of the important adjectives we looked at today. So we have wide, opposite, narrow, yeah, wide and narrow. And we can also say broad instead of wide. It's the same, wide or broad. I wrote it in a comment before. Deep, so when we have a water, so rivers, lakes, or the sea, you have deep water, and opposite, shallow. And high and low, usually for mountains, cliffs. Remember, for people, we say tall and short, yeah? Good. Thank you very much for your participation. Have a great weekend. Keep safe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.